What's going on, guys? In today's tutorial I'm going to be continuing from part 1 where I remove the shadows and any kind of imperfection from the skin, and today I'm going to be whitening the teeth and brightening the eyes as well. Alright, here we go, guys. So this is our skin, so I'm going to group this. I'm going to rename it and call it skin. I'm going to create a blank layer. I'm going to put it inside of a group. Alright, I'm going to be using hue and saturation, but first, before I do that, I'm going to create a mask. We're going to be working on the teeth. We're not going to be really troubling any other areas. So I'm going to be creating a mask. Hitting a mask right there. You can see it's white. I'm going to hit Q on my keyboard. While I'm going to hit Q on the keyboard, and what Q does, it activates quick mask. So if you see, oops, oh sorry guys, from the last tutorial I had my brush flow on 1%. We need to increase it back to 100%. Okay, here we go. Just hit Q again. Sorry, I don't know what's happening with me today. Q. Okay, what was happening a while ago? I wasn't seeing. When you press the Q on the keyboard, if you press it again, you're supposed to be seeing, what we call marching ants. What was happening a while ago is, let me hit back Q again, is I needed to flip the colors from white. If you press X on the keyboard, you will see it flipping. So I needed to have black as my foreground color when I'm painting on the mask. So let me go ahead and continue. So what I'm doing right now is I'm trying to outline the teeth. Teeth. Wow, what a word. The teeth. Alright, so I think my brush a little bit too soft. So I'm going to increase the size, and I'm going to bring the hardness to about 60%. Alright, and I'm going to start painting again. Let me zoom in a little bit more so I can be a little bit more precise. Alright, and for those who didn't watch my first video, what I did a while ago was I selected Z, or the letter Z, for zoom, and all I'm doing is swiping left and right on my Wacom tablet to go. When I go right, it goes in. When I go left, it goes out. Alright guys, let me press back B on my keyboard to get by the brush, and all I'm doing is just painting. Okay. Move on. And I said, for the sake of this tutorial, I'm not going to be making it, extremely neat. Looks looking good to me. And this last one right here. Perfect. Okay, let me zoom back out. I know this is horrible, guys, but you'll see in a moment. So I'm gonna zoom out again. I'm gonna come back out of quick mask by pressing Q on the keyboard, and you get the match enhance. I'm gonna select my mask layer, hold down Shift on the keyboard. I'm gonna hold on Alt on my keyboard. I'm gonna press in backspace. Sorry, the Windows key on my keyboard and press backspace. And I'm gonna press the Windows key again and press deselect. All right. So if I should select this blank layer right here and paint, it should only affect the teeth and nothing else because of the mask. All right. So let's start working on this teeth right now. Zoom on the keyboard again. I'm going to zoom in a little bit tighter. Good. All right, so I'm going to be using the hue and saturation. All right, I'm going to just drag this a little bit below there. Drag this below the blank layer. All right, so I'm going to select Colorize, and I know guys, the teeth looks horrible, but we're getting there. All right, so I have some settings. This is just for this picture right here. Your numbers might be different. So for the hue, I'm checking 293, and for the saturation, I'm going to be using 7. Yes, guys, I know. The teeth still looks horrible, but we're not done yet. All right, so I'm going to select my curves layer. I'm going to be increasing that, and right away you can say, oh my god, the teeth is looking a lot better, but it looks unnatural. Why? Because teeth isn't that bright and that white. But anyway, let's go on. So here in our layer style, where it says underlining layer, there are these 2 sliders. One's for the black, that fades from black to white, and the other fades from white to black. We're going to be selecting this one right here, the one that fades from white to black. All right, what we're affecting right now is, if you notice before, let me uncheck. Let me come back out. If you notice before, in the teeth area right here, you can see some lighter areas right here. What we're going to be trying to do is to fill in those dark areas right here. And that is due to, when you drink a lot of coffee or certain foods that have acids, it deteriorates the what's the name? I don't remember the name that they use, the scientific name. But anyway, let's go back in. And with this slider right here, if you notice it has a line in the middle right here, I'm going to be holding on my Alt key and selecting, and I see it comes apart. I'm going to drag this until I see it's filling in those darker areas. If you see the darker areas come back, I know I've gone too far, so let me back it off. That looks good. I'm going to slide this down just a little, not too far, but just enough. Perfect. Alright, good. That looks good to me. Let's go take it off. On, off, on, off, on. I know it still looks a little bit unnatural, guys. We're not done yet. Alright, so I'm going to select our blank layer. Select M on the keyboard. And if you want to know what M selects, is this thing right here, the rectangular marquee tool. Alright, you have the rectangular, elliptical, single row, both column and row, but I'm using the rectangular marquee tool. Alright, so I'm going to be filling this with white. Yes, yes, I know, guys, it looks horrible. I'm not done it. I'm going to deselect by pressing the Windows key on the keyboard and select D. Alright. So I'm going to be doing the same thing but with the darker side now, guys. If I drag the darker side, you'll see what happens. Alright. What I'm doing here, guys, is our teeth has natural sheen in them. And all I'm doing is just enhancing those sheens. If I go too far to the right, you'll notice that, you know, oops. If I go too far to the right, you notice that, you know, I'm losing that sheen. So I want to bring it to a spot where it looks, that's too far. I think right there looks good to me. Alright. That looks good. Alright, so I'm going to rename this. I'm going to call it teeth. Oops. Double click. I'm going to call it teeth. If I can spell. Okay. And if I should collapse the group layer and take the eye off, you can see the before and the after. Still looks kind of unnatural. I know, I'm not done yet. Alright, so let's expand it back again. On the hue layer, on the curves layer, I'm just going to lower my opacity to somewhere that I feel, you know, comfortable. And on the top layer where I have the white, I'm going to lower that as well. Alright, I'm going to collapse the layer now, and I'm going to do an overall. Just to let in back that natural texture of the teeth back in. So if I go before and after, that's looking 10 times better. Alright, so let's move on. Okay, so let me go up, look at the eyes. She has really beautiful eyes, but we can make them even better. Alright, so let's click on our curves. I'm going to click on this little hand right here, and I'm selecting right here in this eye, and I'm just going to increase the brightness to about there. I know it looks weird now, guys, but just bear with me. I'm going to be holding on the Windows key and pressing backspace on my keyboard to fill the mask with the color that I had here in the background. If I held down Alt and backspace again, it's going to fill it with the white. I don't want that, I want the black. Because what I want to do, I want to paint in the result of what I did a while ago. I'm going to soften the brush again, decrease the size. I'm going to paint in. If you look at the eyes, if you look in the mirror at any time, you know, you will see that the eyes naturally has the lower part of it just kind of bright, and that's what I'm trying to achieve right here. Alright, and I'm going to change the layer to lighten. You're not seeing anything yet, but I'm going to lower the opacity. Like I said, guys, we're trying to make things look as natural as possible, you know, so that it doesn't, you know, look at it and say, oh my god, you know, that person did something in Photoshop, you know. So let's go, keep on saying, you know. Anyway, I'm going to select another curve layer again, and this is for pupils right here and at the edges of the eyes. You'll notice that it has a natural, what we would call you know, darkening on the edges right here, and we just want to heighten those a little bit. So I'm going to select the hand again. I'm going to select right in the dark area, and I'm going to drag down. But if you notice I'm dragging down, nothing is happening. That's because the darkest area right here is right at the bottom. So I'm just going to select somewhere on this graph right here and drag it down to where it looks good. That looks good. So we're going to fill that with black again by pressing the Windows key and backspace on the keyboard. Alright, I'm going to zoom in. And I'm going to select B on the keyboard for brush. And all I'm going to do is just painting in. What I'm doing is just painting in right here. Just to give it a little bit, you know, I could stand pop out a little bit more. I think I've gone a little bit too far in, so I'm going to switch by pressing X on the keyboard to switch to black, and I'm just going to remove the areas that I don't want. Okay, that looks good. Okay, that looks good. I'm going to move to the next eye and do the same thing. I'm painting. I'm just darkening the blacks here, guys. Just kind of darkening the blacks. Decrease the size of my brush. I'm just going to paint it right here. I'm painting right here. Good. And where I've went a little bit too far on, I can just flip the colors and remove it. Just like that. I'm going to lower the size of my brush again, flip it back to white, and just paint in these little areas right here. Good. Let me go over here to see if I missed anything. Yeah, I could touch up right here, guys. That looks good to me. Let me zoom out. Good. Looking at it now, yeah, it definitely does look unnatural. Alright, I'm just create a layer and group these right here. Alright, I'm gonna call this eyes. Alright, let me expand it back again. Okay. So if I take it off and on, you see the difference, and it does look unnatural. Alright, so let's select the mask layer for the top where the blacks are. Let me zoom in. Go to filter, blur, Gaussian blur. I'm just going to add a blur just to kind of tone those sharp edges. That looks good to me. Perfect. I'm just going to lower the opacity just a little bit. I'm going to select and go to multiply. They're going to get even darker. I'm just going to lower it even more. As I said, you just want a subtle, just a very subtle change. I could lower this opacity a little bit more to about 23. That looks good to me. For the brightness right, it's a little bit bright for me. I might do the same filter, blur, Gaussian blur. I'm going to lower this a little bit to about 1.4, 1.5. That looks good. Let's look at it. Before, after, before, after. That looks a lot better to me, guys. If I zoom out, you'll see that our eyes are coming on. Before, after, before, after. I think that looks really good, guys. Excuse me. Alright, so let's zoom back in again. If you notice, you know, even in baby's eyes, when you know baby's eyes are so white, but when you look at it, there's a hint of blue, and that's what we're seeing right here. So I just want to lower or take away that tint just a little bit. So select our eye group layer again, select the top one, and we're going to select our curves again. We're going to select this middle one right here. This is our blacks, mid-tone, whites. We're dealing with the mid-tones right here. I'm just going to select a portion of the eye right here. Boom. I know it's going to change the entire color of the screen. We can fix that. But what I want is to lower the opacity. Lower the opacity. Lower it about 25. We're going to filter black. Alright. Select B on the keyboard again. We're going to increase our brush size by holding on Control Alt and swiping either left or right if you're using a Wacom tablet. Alright. And we'll paint it in. We're just going to remove that blue tint a little bit. It's a little bit too blue for me. Go over to the next eye. That's good. That looks good. Okay. Alright, the eyes look a little bit dark, so I'm going to increase that again. I'm going to click on the hand again, right here, select and hold, and just slide it up just a little bit, just to, you know, get rid of those dark. I'm going to filter it black. I'm going to paint in again, just the area of what I want. And that's looking a lot better there, guys. Perfect. Go to the next side. That's good. Let's zoom back out. Collapse. So if we go before, after, that looks good to me, guys. It looks very natural. All right. So let me see if there's anything I need to do. Look back on the teeth. I'm noticing a little bit of hint of the color coming through where the hue. So I'm going to lower the hue. Lower the opacity of the hue just a tad. That looks a lot better. Okay, guys. So we have corrected the colors of the teeth. We've also brightened the eyes. Alright, so we're going to go into part 3 in the next video. We're going to be smoothing the skin and also do an overall sharpening of the image. Alright guys, so once again, please like, subscribe. You know, if there are any questions that you guys have, leave a comment in the comment section below. And once again, see you soon. Bye.